On my channel, I get so many comments about different ways to stretch pizza dough, and the best way that I can teach you is to give you all the different techniques in one video. Stick around to the end because I'm gonna give my most favorite and most successful at the end. Ciao amici, I'm Maestro Leo Spizzeri, and today I'm going to be giving you demonstrations and showing you tips and tricks on how to stretch pizza dough. And I want to go through some of these step by step. So no matter what your skill level is, I want to go from the most basic maybe to what's considered the most complicated and show you step by step how to do each one of these. So the first one is going to be the kids method, right? Or sometimes we call it the bowl method. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a stainless steel bowl just like this. Now a stainless steel bowl, every stainless steel bowl that I've ever seen has a flat bottom to it. Remember this. So I'm gonna put this to the side here for a second, and then I'm gonna get my dough ball. My dough ball here, this is just basic Neapolitan dough. You can see that it's already lived a full life, is probably on its way out, right? So the first thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna start to press this flat into a circle. I'm not looking to create a cornicione, right? Cornicione is that raised edge, because this method almost creates the cornicione for you, right? So what I'm looking to do is make a round solid disc. Once I have this round solid disc, the top of the dough ball usually has like this skin to it. So with the bowl method, I want to make sure that I'm using the top of the dough ball and not the bottom that has the perforations. Because a lot of times the part of the dough ball that touches the bottom of the box has a little bit more humidity or a different texture to it. So start with the dough ball, the part that is flat and the part that's smooth. Take the dough, you've got this flat edge, flip this up on top, and now just kind of center and make this nice and round. I'm telling you, I can't make this up how easy it is. I've been doing this method with kids for like 15 years at least. With your hands, I want you to just press flat, because this flat part on the dough, on this bowl, is gonna start to make sure that we don't overstretch the middle, right? And it's almost like if you think of a rolling pin. So this middle now is gonna be nice and consistent, uniform. This bowl is probably about 10 or 11 inches by the time I get to the sides. So what I'm gonna do is slowly with my hands, just kind of press the dough to the side of the pan. And notice that as I'm pressing down, what's happening? The cornicione is kind of pressing itself. I came up with this method a really long time ago because this method as well, if you ever have, let's say, one of these big wood-fired ovens or a different kind of oven that you can bake in, if you use this method where you stretch the dough on top of the bowl, you can take this, put it on top of a pizza screen, stick it on the rack of your oven and bake it, and this will almost make like this pizza dough bowl that when we flip it upside down, it just happens to be a perfect vessel to serve a salad in. So that's where this method came from. But all of a sudden, I've got little kids pressing the sides of the bowl just like this until the dough gets to the bottom, right? And then all we gotta do is take a little bit of flour. Watch this. Little bit of flour here, because this is now the bottom of the dough, right? I'm gonna take this, turn it over, I'm gonna lay it down, and just like that, we've got our first stretch dough. The next method, this is another one that is kind of more for the novice, the person who really doesn't stretch dough too much, that wants to do it, that needs a little bit of an insurance policy that's gonna turn out good, right? You can see my dough ball over here, it kind of looks square because this is a dough ball that's kind of blown out now. Doesn't mean that we can't stretch a good dough with an ugly dough ball, right? All of a sudden, even though it's got 4 points, I can push those points in and I can turn this into a round circle. Even this dough that's got this kind of overlap, because it's got this big giant bubble that's protruding out the top, it's not a big deal. When you see your dough is like that, just kind of press it flat. And what I'm doing is I'm maneuvering the air bubbles to the edge so that I'm not creating too thin of a spot here in the middle. Now, as I'm doing this, all of a sudden, I've got a nice base. Use your finger, because we need one finger about this width to make that really nice uniform cornicione on the side. And I'm gonna use a technique that's called beading the crust. Beading like, you know, a bead of water, or, you know, not beating, but beading. And the idea is that we're gonna crimp the dough on both sides so that we're creating this pocket that can't be released. And when this rises, it's gonna form that really nice raised edge and still give you a really nice uniform middle. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have you take your finger, go up to the side of the dough, and then take another finger and put a dimple right next to where that finger was. Go to the other side, do the same thing, and then right here at about 12 o'clock, if this was a clock, right here at 12 o'clock, find where that point is, and now I got these 3 indentations. Your hands now are bigger side by side than the dough. So we need to kind of overlap our fingers. See how that is? It's not rocket science. But as you're bringing your fingers in, I want you to open your pinkies so that your pinkies end up in the little holes. And all of a sudden, your hands are in the perfect position to stretch dough. Now, what I want you to do is push down like this and move forward, not this, right? So we're not stretching, we're pushing and dimpling, and the dough will move with you. That's why we need this flour underneath, so that the dough will move with us, right? So now here's my dimples. Open your fingers, push down. It's about a ½ an inch every time I move forward. And you can kind of see here that pattern, one there, one there, one there, one there, right? So it's kind of like that progression up. And you'll notice that here's the first line of my cornicione. Now, this part back here, I need to make go there. So how am I gonna do it? I'm gonna flip the dough. So all of a sudden, there's the puffy part. This here is the part that I just pressed on. Again, put your dimples down, one finger from the edge, put a little notch next to it, go to 12 o'clock, put a notch there, open your fingers until your pinkies end up inside of the little dimple, and go forward and continue going forward until we make this back and forth. Now we did both of these sides, right? Now we gotta go the opposite way. So take the dough from either the left or right side, so 3 or 9 o'clock, flip and turn, put your little indentations, put your little indentation, open your fingers. Notice now that the dough is starting to stretch. It's relaxed. I'm not overworking it. Now that it's stretched, I'm gonna open my fingers a little bit more. My pinkies are resting in those little divots. Push down and do the same thing. Go forward. Now that I'm here at 12 o'clock, take the dough and flip it over. If you need to still do it, you can kind of start to see that imaginary line now. And that imaginary line that we're creating is that beaded crust, right? And I'm gonna talk about this now here in a second. Do the same thing to the opposite side, turn it over, and now we're back in the first position, right? So what we just did, and I don't know if you could see this in the camera, you can kind of see that there's these indentations, but in the middle of those indentations, in the middle of these, each one, everywhere you could see between my fingers is an air pocket. So this dough is gonna eat lighter and airier and crispier than any other method that you can do, because you didn't disturb those gases, and that's automatically gonna make a lighter pizza and an airier pizza. Now the next part is your knuckles. Pretend like you're boxing, right? The idea is that we're gonna line this part of our knuckle up with this imaginary line that we just made. So from, let's say, 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, right? Or vice versa. Now, if I'm trying to make a 12-inch pizza, let's get my 12-inch peel here. All I'm trying to do is stretch the dough 12 inches. Here's my knuckles. I'm stretching from the edge, not the middle. Stretch 12 inches. Bring this up to 12 o'clock. Put your knuckle back at 9. Put your knuckle back at 3. Stretch 12 inches. And then all of a sudden, if you do this like one more time and you lay this down, just like that, we made a perfect circle. Now, the next one, I joke that we call this the DJ method. I've got the top of this dough ball, which is the part of the dough ball that usually has a slight amount of skin on it, right? For the DJ method, you want to flip this so that the skin side is down and I've got the ugly side up. The ugly side of the dough is the one that's got all the perforations. This is the one that was touching the bottom of the dough box. Or if you're using those containers, the disposable containers, like that part that was touching the bottom of the container would be the ugly side. Make sure this is the top, right? I'm pressing down, okay, to the point. I'm not doing the dimpling. I'm just trying to press the middle uniform. Give this a turn, press the middle uniform. Kind of see where I'm going with this, why we starting to call this the DJ method. It's like it's a record, right? All I'm doing is just pressing flat. My hand is flat and I'm pressing like this, right? Give it a turn. If you really want to get into the moment, maybe you put some strobe lights on, maybe one of those balls. Definitely if you're going to be like a Pauly D or something, you know, the DJ, you got to tilt your head to the side as you're doing this, right? Now the idea is the DJ method is that this dough is going to spin, right? But we're going to move our hands with it. So if our hands are like this, remember there was the old wrestler, the WWE wrestler, DDP, right? The idea is that you're going to put your hands from here and you're going to spread your fingers this way, right? So from here, diamond to open and spread. What are we spreading? Right here. My fingers are going up to this little imaginary line of the cornicione. They're starting here. There's the diamond. And then I'm pulling and turning. Pulling and turning. Pulling and turning, right? And as I'm doing this, right, if your hands feel like they're sticking to the dough, go ahead, dip them in some flour. It's not a big deal. And continue doing this. If I was doing this in real time, I would do it like this. All right? Once you get it to this point, then you can finish it however you want. So I'm almost right there at about maybe 10 inches. It's a little bit smaller than my peel, but the same thing. Lift it back up, kind of adjust it up on your hands, give it a little stretch. See how I'm doing that? And go. If you get a little hole, beautiful. I'm glad this actually happened. Because this happens in pizza making. I stretched a little hole. Where did this hole come from? I probably snagged it on something, right? Or maybe it went my pinky or something. It happens. Take the hole, lift it. See, here's the hole, right? Lift the hole and fold it on top of itself and press down. And I promise you, nobody will ever know that there was a hole in this pizza, right? And that's the DJ method. Now, this is where we're getting into that intermediate, right? And going into the advanced techniques. This next one is what I call the New York technique, the New York slap. It's not throwing the dough in the air because yes, I guess that's a freebie. We could always say, yeah, you could throw the dough in the air. Centripetal force spins it. Actually, if I'm going to show you that one, I might as well show you something very old. I have a relic from a past life when we were kids. My good friend Tony Gemignani, I was in his first pizza class. I followed Tony as a kid when he was still a kid. We have pictures of us in our first pizza classes with none of us having any tattoos at all. And I'm going to show you something cool. Tony Gemignani, back in the day, used to throw pizza dough as an acrobat before he knew how to make pizza. And I was not very much younger or older because Tony and I are only about a year apart from each other. I'm covering the microphone, so you're probably not going to be able to hear that. And if Tony ever sees this, he's going to laugh his ass off saying, holy crap, I can't believe you still have my first throwing dough, right? So when we have this, right, actually these doughs, you can actually get these online now, right? They have these a lot. We used to put flour on these, or we would put baby powder because it would make it feel like it's more like a real dough and it would slide. And then the idea is that you can see where my hand is, kind of off center. And then when I'm throwing it up in the air, the idea is my hand is going up and turning, right? And I know I did that sideways, but I wanted you guys to see my hand where it ends up, right? So when you kind of go up in the air, it's gonna come back down and you're gonna land it with both of your knuckles like this. Not like this because your fingers will go through it. So when we do that New York toss, that's kind of this one when you see guys doing it, right? The next one that we're gonna do is that actual New York technique that you see all the guys doing. A lot of guys teach this method when they're working in the slice shop to teach people how to do very large format pizzas, right? So again, we're pressing this flat on all the sides, and I'm gonna continue turning this so that I can make this round and flat. And then the technique, when we get to this point, is that I'm opening and I'm tossing to my open hands. But as I'm turning, I'm flipping my hand. And as I continue to flip, you'll see that this is getting larger and larger, but I'm spinning this and opening up my hand at the same time, which is causing the dough to extend. you can make a very small dough ball into a very large pizza. Notice that I'm working on top of the table and the dough is dragging on the table. I'm not overstretching it. I'm letting it go up onto my arms. And every time I stretch it onto my arms like this, it's getting a little bit larger. I'm aiming for the edge. And with just a little bit of movement, you'll see how big this already got, right? Okay, now for the moment you've all been waiting for. This is my go-to method, and it's the method that I use to stretch almost all my dough. It's the Neapolitan Slap technique. I actually talk about that technique in my new book called Pizza Love. And if you get it, there's 8 different dough recipes, 8 sauce recipes for every style of dough, and then 100 recipes in that book covering all of my favorite topping builds for every style of pizza that's in there. Now, that Neapolitan stretch technique, this is that slapping part that it does take some practice. I tell students all the time, because when they see me and we're in person doing classes together, everybody wants to know how to figure it out. So I tell them is, like, don't go in the closet, don't go in your linen closet at home and get your wife's really good beach towels, right? But if you see some beach towels around that need some love, or they're on their way out, or maybe you go to whatever cheap value store and they got them on sale, get yourself a beach towel, take the beach towel with a magic marker and trace a 12-inch circle on it. Cut the circle out with a pair of scissors, wet the beach towel, wring it out, and practice this technique I'm about to show you. So get this to a circle. The same technique that we used in the beginning where I was doing that dimpling from the edge. So start from the middle, work your way to the edge, right? Leaving one finger from the cornicione, flip the dough over, do the same thing in the opposite direction. Go the opposite side. In my case, I'm going 3 o'clock, but you could also go 9 o'clock. Flip and turn, so that's now down in the bottom. So 3 o'clock became 6 o'clock with a flip and turn. You can see the lines of how my hands went, right? I'm gonna go the opposite way, right? And now that I can fit my hand into the center of the dough, my hand has this curve. You see how the fingers go, right? I'm gonna put that to 12 o'clock, and guess what? As my hand does this, it kind of matches the curve of the round pizza. So I'm gonna press down from 12 to 3. With my pinky, I'm gonna hold my hand down at 3 o'clock, and then around here at the 7 o'clock position, I'm gonna pull, lift, and turn. And then I'm gonna go 12 to 3, pull at 7 o'clock, lift up my arm, and turn. 12 to 3, pull, lift, turn. And that over and over again with that beach towel. As you're practicing this, it's literally just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I can do this again. We did that slapping technique on the arms, but again, this is no different. This could be a lot of dough, a little dough, but I can make a very large format pizza. That's it. It's that easy, guys. It'll hold air. So, these are all my techniques for making and stretching dough. If you learned something, tell me in the comments which one is your favorite, or tell me which ones you've tried and the ones that have been most successful for you. I can't wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to see you all soon.